Hello. Hello, everybody. Okay. I am going to read from the Ascension Glossary again. This is going to be good. This is a good one. This is real good. It explains a lot of what we are going through, right now. Right now, this is exactly what we are going through on planet Earth right now. Biological evolution. And I have came to this conclusion too when everything happened like it did, and I started putting stuff together, and I was getting all these little signs and symbols and little things. The transmutation, transfiguration, all that stuff, the equations for it. Crazy stuff was happening. Now, what I had put together was basically that Earth is changing, our solar system is changing, things are changing, it's changing us, right? And it is going to upgrade or boost our DNA or evolve us in some way, right? Now, I'm going to stick to script here and I'm going to read this because I'm trying not to get this deleted. I hope when it goes through the system that they don't pick up anything crazy, because when you talk about anything to do with DNA, they get pissed for some reason. But this is good. This is really good. And it explains exactly what is going on. It also explains why we have been dumbed down. It's been on purpose to halt our spiritual growth. And that is why the Genesis story, you can break holes all through it. But this is why. Because when they try to tell you eating from the tree of knowledge is sinful, no, actually, learning is not sinful. Because when you learn, you can no longer be controlled. That's probably the sinful part in their eyes. Lord, God forbid that you discover that God wanted you to grow and become intelligent so that you could save your soul. God forbid. Now, so biological evolution. The physiological adaptations that are influencing humanity are in response to the series of biological and spiritual evolutionary markers that are profoundly impacting the planetary architecture, planetary elementals, and the earth element itself. Earth element, currently the planetary body is undergoing a space-time reorganization that ripples out many strange anomalies that influence the quantum field. As a result, there are new patterns of electromagnetic disturbances, interruption, or distortions in the collective field. Earth element, which is what we're on the Earth element. The combined changes are further impacting the human phenotype as it has been documented with scientific consensus. The human race phenotype is a generalized expression of characteristics and traits influenced from the combination of the genetics, behavioral, and environmental factors, as well as a variety of influences stemming from the collective consciousness. Science does not include the many factors of artificial intelligence, genetic modification, and mind control playing a direct role in shaping and controlling the traits of the human phenotype. The human phenotype describes the physical characteristics and traits that define the species of human beings. As we transition from one root race to another, let's see what it says about root race. As a part of the human race and other ET races, we have contributed and participated in several levels of planetary experience via experiments in the development of human consciousness at the various times. In each time cycle, a level of root race. So there will be a new root race. We are witnessing a new root race because we are at the end of an age, i.e., going into Aquarius. So as we transition from one root race to another, the species factors such as physiological functions of the human body are rapidly responding to the massive alterations that are occurring in the Earth body. This means that the collective human blueprint and human bodies are responding to the impending biological evolution that is required as a result of the planet's structural shift. So we're going through a shift. Everybody can see it. I mean, you can decide what gender you want to be, like going and buying cereal off the grocery store shelf, you know? We're going through changes. And the energy around these changes, it's affecting us. It's new energy. We're having new thoughts, new ideas, new emotions. It's all energy. And it affects us. And it affects our body and it affects our genetics. Consciousness is energetic intelligence, which can be both differentiated and undifferentiated units of qualities of energy or arranged in specific blueprints that direct or influence all matter forms. So, the collective human blueprint and human bodies are responding to the impending biological evolution that is required as a result of the planet's structural shift. The current evolutionary pressures are causing energy to form, anomalies to occur, especially within many environmental physical factors. The new consciousness platform requires specific physiological adaptations to the genetic changes that are occurring in the human race. In order to accumulate or acclimate to the new set of conditions and energies that we are being further exposed to as they are related to the human evolutionary process. Those awakening now in the forefront of embodying these adaptations as they are the consciousness bridge spanning into the future birth cycle of the next root race of the human species. For many multidimensional people on the path of ascension, how we connect into many levels of consciousness structure has radically changed. Our light body is radically changing, and our physical body is undergoing a series of adaptations in order to meet the new energy requirements. Our previous ways of consciousness connection and communication are in fluctuation, while our light body is being reconfigured to accommodate the changing planetary architecture, solar architecture, and beyond. Adaptive traits lead to identity rebirth. Structural, physiological, and behavior adaptations are necessitated by the deep impacts that are being made by current evolutionary forces sweeping into the planet, reaching critical mass. Behavioral adaptation to the changing consensus that humanity is manifesting the consciousness state of the global reality through a self-directed thought follows energy paradigm, as well as adapting to energetic conditions that realization imposes on the entire species, is an example of adaptive traits coming online. Behavioral adaptations such as these resonate with the universal laws, and as such, they further activate the higher DNA functions in the human biology. For the human race to survive in the new energetic terrain, we are being forced to transform our beliefs and develop a variety of new behavioral patterns of adaptive traits. Adaptive traits, stimulated by higher truths such as comprehending universal laws through which we are governed, further support evolution of the collective human race blueprint by helping catalyze the future generations' capacity to better evolve into higher functioning DNA. The human race is currently in a phase of adaptation to the planetary evolutionary process. And this is a difficult re-education and learning process required to continue to evolve and deeper higher consciousness and the development of deeper higher consciousness. It is made difficult because of the current mind state over the nature of reality and the lack of public knowledge being shared about the rapid shifts impacting the planet that describe planetary ascension. At the individual level, each person must decide if they are willing to open their mind and release dependencies upon the old paradigm and their subjugation to the controller archetype as their main authority. The controller archetype and false king of tyranny exists everywhere inside people that are politicians, employers, gurus, any person we give our power away to willingly. At this time, we must distinguish the differences between discerning tyrants and true leaders, as they are very difficult or different roles and should not be confused or equated. A true leader does not want to take our power away, while a tyrant will take the position of total authority over others. To spiritually evolve, we cannot play into the controller games anymore. We must reclaim our personal power and accept responsibility for ourselves. Changing the context of evolution. Generally, the term genetic mutation has been considered detrimental to the evolution of the organism or species. We must change the context and discussion around genetic mutations to open dialogues to better understand how they impact the human race or other species in both positive and negative ways. Genetic mutations are not always harmful. One glaring problem is that some declare genetic changes and activation of dormant DNA impossible beyond a certain point. This is fundamentally wrong and does not fully this is fundamentally wrong and does not fully comprehend the function and purpose of DNA assembly, which is inherently responsible for activating higher consciousness intelligence. We cannot fear evolution and the correct knowledge of how our own body, DNA, and consciousness work. Many world religions have used the fear of self knowledge to control humanity. All evolution and consciousness development of a species is based on genetic changes through DNA activation. Okay, so knowing that our instinctual mind and emotional body is shifting from carbon based atoms to higher based elementals through higher frequency activation and planetary magnetic shifts, we may connect the dots in our own body's spiritual progression related to this process. Now, of what was previously non existent, undiscovered, or dormant. So basically, this is DNA. Now, this takes me back to the video I did a few weeks ago where I was talking about how they want to use our junk energy that we just put off on our bodies. We just put it off into the atmosphere. It's junk energy, and they want to use it to run quantum programs that control you. It's not junk DNA. It's not junk energy. They know it, and they don't want you to know it. Now, let's get back. DNA and consciousness work. Many world, okay, we're past that. Genetic mutation. The DNA subjected to change determines the nature of the organism, and this change would appear as a genetic mutation for those observing it. This is the natural process of ascending human consciousness on earth, the organic nature of the spirit having a physical experience and evolving through a multidimensional reality. Genetic mutations are the main area of disagreement in competing theories of humanity's origins, evolution, and DNA potential. In biology, a mutation is a permanent alteration of a nucleotide sequence of the genome of the organism, virus, or DNA. Mutations can occur as a natural process or unnatural process that makes changes to a DNA sequence. For our purposes, the unnatural process of mutation would include exposures to certain artificial intelligence, chemicals, viruses, which would be like if they were man made, or toxic elements that alter or damage DNA sequence to repel the spirit. Additionally, our planet has a history with extra-dimensional species competing to write DNA sequence coding into planetary minds, stargates, and morphogenic fields in order to evolve their preferred bloodlines or tribes while suppressing the DNA of genetic undesirables. Harmful mutations are designed to reject the original or organic function of the higher DNA sequencing that should function to activate consciousness expansion. Any alteration made in a gene from its natural state may create diseases, distortions, and impact the health and development of the species. As an example, splicing the human genome with artificial intelligence, machines, or animal DNA promoted in the transhumanist agenda is an unnatural mutation that distorts and blocks the higher spiritual consciousness of the human being. This agenda promotes their inner disconnection, shuts down the heart complex, trapping the person in a separate reality with destructive consciousness experiences. As we come to understand more about genetic mutations, we must recognize that the natural process of ascending consciousness with a human body is made possible through DNA activation. This is very positive for evolving the human race to achieve higher consciousness through allowing the natural process of a DNA assembly. Da, da, da! Make of it what you will. I'm going to leave it with that. I hope you guys watch this. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to be the reason that someone believes in good people. Thank you.